Gladiator II might not be best picture material like the first one, but it's a riveting blockbuster spectacle nonetheless. The sequel pushes the violence and gore much further and gets creative with the gladiator matches. Rather than having men fight each other, they have men fighting monkeys and rhinos and sharks, all of which demands to be seen on the big screen. Gladiator II is Ridley Scott's best paced film in years. There's plenty of gladiator action to keep the movie exciting from beginning to end, but there's also just enough dramatic stuff in between the action to give it substance beyond big budget Hollywood entertainment. The acting is great, particularly by a scene-stealing Denzel Washington, and the scale is really impressive. Gladiator II doesn't surpass its predecessor, but it comes a hell of a lot closer than most legacy sequels. This video will contain mild spoilers for Gladiator II. I've always felt that what made the original Gladiator so great was its simplicity. The tale of Maximus's quest for revenge is almost mythic. The story is much more complex in the sequel. It's more Shakespearean and political, which I initially worried would be its undoing. But I actually ended up enjoying the story of Gladiator II, maybe even more than the first one. The hero-villain dynamic is less black and white than the original. In Gladiator, Maximus is a straightforward good guy and Commodus is a straightforward bad guy, and Maximus has an irrefutable reason to want revenge. But in Gladiator II, Lucius is a straightforward good guy, but Acacius isn't a straightforward bad guy, and Lucius's motivation for revenge isn't so clear-cut. Acacius ordered Lucius's wife's death, but it was right after she killed one of his best guys, so it's not like he killed her in cold blood. He wanted his own vengeance. And as we get to know Acacius better, we see that he's become disillusioned with being a warmonger, and he wants to take down Rome's corrupt leadership and bring peace. He's not really a villain, he's more of a secondary protagonist, which makes the dynamic much more interesting. When David Scarpa was announced as the writer for Gladiator II, I was pretty worried. His last couple of scripts for Scott have been very dull and uneven, but Gladiator II is a very well-written movie. The structure is solid. It sets up the vendetta between Lucius and Acacius in the first few minutes, then follows these two different characters on two different journeys before bringing them back together. The only thing is the dialogue is a bit clunky. The best lines are cribbed from the first film and they really beat them to death.
There once was a time when honor meant something in Rome. In this Rome, I no longer believe that exists. We must find it.
And if we let her go today, we are going to be responsible for whatever she does, so help me God and let the Lord be my witness.
Paul Mescal gives as nuanced and charming a turn as Lucius as Russell Crowe did with the role of Maximus, but he falls short of Crowe when he has to galvanize the troops with a speech or follow up a kill with a quippy one-liner. Mescal's delivery of the rousing speeches and action hero one-liners mostly fall flat. He would nail the brutal physicality of a fight scene and then ruin the glory of that moment with a flat line reading. But I'm not sure how much of that can be blamed on Mescal and how much is down to Scarpa's writing. Where We Are, Death Is Not doesn't quite have the same ring as I Will Have My Vengeance in This Life or the Next.
Where death is, we are not. Where we are, death is not.
And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
Pedro Pascal is as brooding and charismatic as always in the role of Acacius, playing the bloodlust of a war hero and the remorse of a killer with equal authenticity. He shares great chemistry with Connie Nielsen as a married couple, and he does a great job of showing Acacius's thinly veiled disdain for the emperors. Denzel Washington chews the hell out of the scenery as Lucius's duplicitous mentor Macrinus. Washington steals the show whenever he appears on screen. He's surrounded by world-class actors like Paul Mescal and Joseph Quinn, and he's so mesmerizing that you'll forget they're even there. And you'll forget about that stupid controversy around his New York accent. It's no surprise that a kissing scene between Washington and another man was filmed, because he really leans into the character's bisexuality. It's a shame that it got cut from the film and edited down to another classic case of queer baiting. When the trailer for Gladiator II first dropped, it looked great, but there were three things I was worried about. It looked like a remake of the first one, with a slave being forced to fight as a gladiator, rising through the ranks to become a champion, and quietly plotting his revenge. It also seemed to spoil the whole film, as the showdown between Lucius and Acacius looked like it would be the climactic sequence. And I was worried it would have an anachronistic soundtrack featuring Jay-Z and Kanye West.
In the night I hear him talk, the coldest story ever told, somewhere far along this road.
Thankfully, all those concerns were unfounded. It's only a remake of the original film in its first half, then it becomes more about the power struggle for the throne. The showdown between Lucius and Acacius isn't the climax, it's the midpoint, and it doesn't go the way you think it will. And there's no rap on the soundtrack, it has a beautiful orchestral score by Harry Gregson Williams. It's not quite as great as Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard's original music, but what is? Gladiator II might not be the masterpiece that the first film is, but it's a wildly entertaining blockbuster. I watched it with a big crowd and they ate it up. Mescal might not have Crow's smouldering action hero chops, but he does have his gravitas. Denzel gives one of the best performances of his career, Scott delivers some of the most incredible action sequences of his career, and the story is engaging from start to finish. Like a Roman emperor who wants to show mercy, I give Gladiator II a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe and click on the little bell. And also seize the day and call your mom and be kind to yourself.